Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having an amazing day. So I am starting the new year with a palette a day challenge, and I'm challenging myself, but if you're watching this, I totally challenge you to do this, even if you want to do it for just 1 week or a month, but I'm doing it all year long. So every single day except for Sundays, because I'm going to give myself a break. You will see or have been seeing, if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen it. If not, I'll put it up here. Make sure you go follow me because I'm going to be posting these looks every single day, Monday through Saturday. So I'll post the palette that I'm using, a look, and other posts here and there as well. But you're guaranteed to see those things. Hopefully, I'm so far, I'm like 2 days ahead. Let's just keep our fingers crossed that I can keep that up because it is a lot. It's a lot of work. So I used 6 palettes this week. My plan for each week is to show you all the palettes. I'm going to insert videos creating all the looks, but I'm going to be going through all my palettes. So it's going to incorporate new palettes, old palettes, and I'm just going to go through my collection. It will take me the entire year to go through all of them, especially when I consider purchasing new ones. I have a goal too that each week I declutter at least one of the palettes. I don't know how that's gonna work. Maybe some weeks there won't be a palette to declutter and some weeks I'll declutter a couple, who knows. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We started the week with a palette that I got for Christmas. So this is the Nomad, it says Lago di Como, but it is the Lake Como palette from their Italy collection. Nomad is a smaller brand, so I'm really happy that I enjoy their shadows so much. This is a little 9-pan palette with blues and greens. This is really beautiful and I had a great time creating this look. So I'm going to insert the video here, and I started out, oh, Graveyard Girl mentioned me in her story just now. Oh my goodness. This look, I started with a couple colors. I did Aquarama and La Dolce Vita, the green and blue right here, and I really started just blending them together into the crease. And then I also added Mozzafiato, which is this deep navy color. I added that into my outer corner, and then I put the shade Paparazzo all over my lid, and it is so beautiful. It looks so creamy. So that's the color you see just washing over my lid. I did use a little bit of Palazzo in the inner corner, which is like the yellowish color, and I basically just blended the same shades on the bottom. So like that bluish green, I think I used a little bit more of La Dolce Vita in there. But this palette is beautiful. I highly recommend Nomad Cosmetics. I think the last time I posted about something, someone said that they didn't think that their palettes were that great. I have had the exact opposite experience. Everything that I've tried, I've loved. I have several palettes from them now, but Berlin Underground was my first. I loved it. I got their Italy palette, which is 9 pans as well, but it's a very warm, nudish kind of color, like reds and nudes. This one's amazing though. It does have a duochrome, and then you have 2 other shimmers. This one is also kind of like a satin shade with a shift of green in that one. So pretty. I know I used the majority of the colors in my look. We'll go ahead and swatch also Bella Figura. So just so you guys can see any of the shades that I didn't use, I wanted to show you in a swatch. I did use a little bit of Bellagio, which is this very pale. It's got a hint of yellow to it. It's super pale, but very creamy and blendable. And those are mattes and shimmers right there. Let me swatch one more matte. I'll swatch La Dolce Vita even though we already used that, but this green is killer. And they have another coming out that is, I think it's going to be the Iceland palette because they keep dropping clues, and it looks so gorgeous too. So just the colors are amazing. So this one's, I'm very happy with. This was my first time using this palette, but so amazing. I highly recommend theirs. So that was the first palette. The next palette that I used was a real throwback. This is the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. You guys have seen this 100 million times, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this, but I did, like I said, I'm going to use all my palettes, so this is a throwback. And this look I got a lot of compliments on it, and it was super simple. So the main thing that I did, I started with Candied Peach, which is a matte. It's got a little shimmer in it, but honestly, if you blend it out, you can't see that shimmer whatsoever. I started with that, and I also used some of Summer Yum. I think at some point I dipped into Puree too as I was blending those shadows just for the color, and I really focused those 2 shades in the outer corner. On on the lid, I used Peaches and Cream, which is a beautiful shimmer. It's like champagne. So it was a very neutral wearable look, which I really wanted to add in there, even though those are not my most favorite types of looks. I know that a lot of you guys are probably wearing those colors and not much else, especially nowadays, like you're going super simple. So I really want to make sure that I include some neutral looks every week so that it's not just all full on color. So I didn't use a ton of the colors, but I did also go into Peach Pit, which is a darker, kind of like a chocolate with a hint of plum. And I used that color to do my liner. And then I used mostly just puree under my lower lash line. So I kept it really neutral with this one, and I asked, and most people said this was a keeper. When this palette came out, I remember thinking like, wow, this is like, I have to get my hands on this palette. I need this palette. It was supposed to be a real limited edition palette. And I mentioned too on Instagram how I feel like after that palette came out that nothing's really that limited edition anymore. Like if a company can sell enough of them, they'll bring it back out. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I like things to be limited edition, but then I also understand like letting everybody get their hands on it is also nice too. So I see both sides of it. That was number 2. Number 3 is the Menagerie Cosmetics Pastel Pup. They have been one of my favorite indie brands that I have actually used. I immediately was intrigued by them. I ordered a ton of stuff and did a video, and then the owner asked if I wanted to get some PR, and I was like, oh my god, yes. This was the one of the things that I've gotten from them, and it's a beautiful palette. I love the artwork. She used artists every time for the artwork, and even just the pastels on the back is so pretty. Little baby seal. And this one is pastels, but there is also a nice white and black kind of anchor colors, so you can go super soft and light. You can go black in the crease in the outer corner. You can do something really fun. Use the black as a liner. And then there is one shimmer in here called Snowball, and these are beautiful chunky shimmers. Let me just show you this because it is gorgeous. There we go. But a beautiful shimmer. It shifts just a tiny bit, but it's just a little bit off from its actual color so that it's such an interesting look. But look at that. Ooh, ooh. So I love this one, and every time I do a look with this palette, I love it because I love pastels, and I was actually copying the colors from my Liquid IV like PR kit that I got. I posted like a reel of it, of my little Liquid IV thing, and it basically had like peach to pink to purple to blue, and I just thought this would be the perfect way to do it. So I used Fishy, and I basically just started in the inner corner with the peachy shade called Fishy. I moved out with Snack and slowly blended Cuddle, Belly Slide, and Ice Cap. So this was a really easy look to create. It's just like this nice little wash. It reminds me of like watercolors flowing together. So I love this, and I just did a strong wing liner. I am gonna swatch the ones that I didn't use in my look because there are some beautiful colors. Ice Worm is this green that's like a little hint of blue in it. It's like just enough. And then Aquatic is this beautiful blue, like a baby blue. Sunbathe is yellow. Your white and your black are pretty basic, but I'll swatch the black for you because it's a pretty impressive black. So pastels are difficult, and I also love to have a good black. So I think that these, like the fact that they're even swatching well tells you how nice they are. But pastel shadows can be really hit and miss. I've had some pretty bad ones and probably some palettes still in my collection that I'm going to go through. But generally speaking, I am going to be kind of comparing them to this because if they're not living up, it's probably not gonna make the cut. But a beautiful palette, and I love supporting smaller businesses too, and I think I'm just realizing more and more how important that is. And I'm a small creator, so supporting smaller brands should be, you know, is a perfect match. So it's what I should be doing, and I will definitely do more of that. All right, I did an entire review, so I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail. If you want to see a review of this palette, go and check out that video. It is the Starry Night. It's gorgeous. You have a frame sleeve, and then inside lots of blues, lots of greens, and of course it's going to marry with the story of the Starry Night painting. So you kind of know what to expect color wise because it's a lot of blues, but creating this look was so fun, and I do have to say I am in love with the look that I created. I was tempted to like use the palette the next day, and only because I'm challenging myself to use different palettes have I not dipped in again. But I did swatch the other shades in the video. So I used a bunch of them, I swatched the rest, and it's a beautiful palette. It's 10 out of 10 amazing. I added the shade Venus basically on the lid in the inner and outer corners and leaving just a little bit of space in the center. So when I went to create this look, I knew that I wanted to use the shade Cypress, and it's a little bit of a brighter blue. It's just gorgeous. So I basically went in with a wash of color and no transition color, just putting that above my crease and then starting to blend it out. So taking the color pretty high up to my brow bone, which sometimes I don't do, but I feel like the more you understand your eye shape, the more you probably will. Especially me, I do have a little bit of a hooded eye, not completely, but somewhat. So it's nice to put the color above the crease so that you can see it when your eyes are open. And in the center, I went with a rustic. In the inner corner, I used the shade Man, which was so beautiful. It looks a tad more yellow in the pan, and it goes just a bit more green on the eye, but still a really vibrant, beautiful color. And then I went for the shade Nocturne, this beautiful green in my lower lash line, and I debated using Himmel, which is this blue, which is such a pretty color. It's very unique. Everything about this palette, really amazing, and I feel like this is their OG formula. The first palette I had from them years ago, amazing. The next time I got a palette, it was a while later and it wasn't that great, but it did come from BoxyCharm, and one of you guys commented and let me know too that BoxyCharm was actually just using them for like the packaging, but actually creating their pans. I don't know if that's true, but it definitely holds true with what I see in the quality, because if it's coming directly from them, I feel like it's been amazing. If it's coming through BoxyCharm, I feel like it's been less than. And I have one palette from them that I'm like not the craziest about, but it's still in my collection, so we're gonna get to it. So the next day, I posted this look. I got a lot of compliments on it using the BH Cosmetics Fairy Lights palette. She's all glittery. It's definitely super pretty. This has a more cool toned look to it. You got a couple warm shades, but lots of cool tones, lots of pinks, and a few blues as well. I didn't want to do a lot of blue because my looks this week have been very blue, so I just used it in my lower lash line, but I started with the shade Precious, which I just thought would be a good transition shade. And then I also used a little bit of Marvelous because I felt like if I used a little bit of this black, it would definitely make sure that there was no brown really there, and it would look a little bit more gray, and it definitely worked out. So these mattes are very creamy, and for the price, BH Cosmetics is really great. I feel like they're pretty consistently great palettes. I've had one or two that have been a little bit less like amazing, but I feel like as time goes on, they're getting better and better. So this has definitely been a win for me. Beautiful palette. I feel like I should have used it a lot more when I first got it and didn't for whatever reason. I'll swatch a few more for you because it does have this really like warm reddish brown. I'm gonna swatch Sultry. Glistening looks gorgeous. We'll do one more matte too. The shade Passionate is what I used in my lower lash line, by the way. Ooh, this like reddish brown, it's like a kind of like a rust sienna. Oh, so good. And there you have it. Pretty darn good swatches, I have to say. Anytime a matte can swatch good, I'm already impressed. Because a lot of mattes just don't swatch good and then they perform well on the eyes, so you never know. So BH Cosmetics Fairy Light, and then the very last palette, the Maybelline Lemonade Craze. Let me tell you guys, I had the worst time trying to create this look on the first eye. So I found what I've been doing more is just sitting down and doing one eye at my vanity. I feel like when I sit down there, my makeup turns out better. It's just something about it. I'm a little bit more focused, and I don't know what it is. I'm just so used to it, and I feel like my makeup typically turns out better, but not always. Sometimes I come over here and do the eye and it's way better. That's what happened with this guy. So when I started creating this look, it was pretty simple. I went in with Sweet Tea. All through the crease, I used Old Fashioned, this brown in my outer corner. And then I went in with Lemonade Craze because I feel like you have to use that color. And I put that in my inner corner, but that's kind of where the real problem began, because it would not lay down. Even though I had eye primer on, it wouldn't stick, it wouldn't stay. So I would like pack, and then the moment I tried to do any blending and moving, gone. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just pack it on and leave it, you know, just a little bit. No, Everything was terrible. It was making my eye water. I had such a hard time. And if you look closely in the pictures, you can actually see that my eye here, I was having such trouble right there, and it like was running my liner. It was just a mess. Then I used sorbet on the lid with a little bit of this main squeeze. So it wasn't like a strong shimmer. It was just like this soft little glow on the lid, which, you know, overall isn't bad. So yeah, not a whole lot to say about that one. My wing also was like one of those where it's like, okay, we got a wing, and it's like, oh, I need to fix it, I need to do this, and then it's, you know, all the way to your hairline, and you're like, what the fuck happened? So we'll start ranking these palettes. This bad boy is at the bottom, and it is going to be decluttered from my collection as well. I have a Maybelline palette that I really like. We'll get to that and double check. But I think a lot of you guys agreed on Instagram too that you didn't feel like their quality was there. I really wanted to be excited, and I think when I saw the soda one, I was like, ooh, that one's cute too. But then I remembered, like, not really, because of the quality. So I just feel like so many drugstore brands are just bad at eyeshadow. Like, there's just something about it. You can find great foundations, great mascaras, powders, lip glosses, so much. But apart from like a few brands, I mean, they're just not really hitting on anything. e.l.f. has surprised me a couple times with some good stuff, Wet n Wild, and that's about it. If you guys ever see drugstore palettes and you would like for me to review it before you spend your money on it, let me know. I'm glad to go pick it up. Milani has some good eyeshadow palettes, but that's like it. Even most of those brands are sometimes hit and miss with their eyeshadows. So he's on the bottom. Oh dear. Okay, I don't know what to say next. So I think I'm gonna have to have the Too Faced Sweet Peach as the next to last, not really because of the quality, but because this color story doesn't speak to me as much as it used to. I feel like peaches used to be like something I loved, and now they're like the farthest thing from my mind. I'm always thinking blues, purples, pinks, greens, and some neutrals, but these, at least right now, I mean, I go through phases though, so I might get back to the phase where I'm in dire need of some peach eyeshadow, but for right now, it's gonna be at the bottom. I think next, we'll have to say BH Cosmetics, because the other palettes really are such good palettes. So with BH, you know, it's got a good color story, but it is to me a little, I mean, you have like this couple of warm shades that are kind of like different. I feel like it would almost be a really nice cool tone palette except for like this shade and this shade. And this one's not that pretty to me. It is good quality, especially when you consider the BH Cosmetics price. So out of my 6 palettes, this is gonna be number 4. This is tough. This is really tough. And I love that these are smaller brands that I'm actually loving more, that like tells me so much. I'm gonna rank the Starry Night palette as 5th because of the price tag of this palette. It's good, it's so good, and the packaging is out of this world, but when I'm thinking like quality to money, it's just hard. And honestly, like all 3 of these palettes are so good, so no matter how I rank them, I love them all. It's so hard to rank these 3. That's really tough. Menagerie Pastel Pup's gonna be number 5 because I have had it for a while. I've created beautiful, beautiful looks. I've been very impressed with it. I also have the Feral palette, which I love. I think their products are amazing, so I highly recommend Menagerie, but there's just something about this Nomad palette that really shocked me with the quality. I feel like it was also fairly affordable for what you get. So of course you just get 9 shadows, but they were really, really good. And I can say like I loved the vibrancy of it. It was really easy to work with. And the Storybook Cosmetics one, because I feel like they have some similar colors. The only thing about that one is there was a little bit of mattes in there that I had to take a little bit more time with. They were not bad, but I like the ease of applying eyeshadow a lot. So if I'm gonna compare 2 blue eyeshadows and they're both beautiful, but one blends a little bit more easily, that's obviously going to be my go-to. Nomad Cosmetics is in the front of the pack this week. I'm actually surprised too, because I would have thought, you know, my Pastel Pup would have beat it, but it's just something about it, and I loved the blues and the greens. I felt like it was so pretty. So we successfully are decluttering 1 palette this week. That is it. I'm so excited, and I hope you guys enjoy these videos. If you like the style of this, let me know. I hope you guys enjoy this. So every single week I'm gonna have this. We're gonna rank our palettes, we're gonna declutter, we're gonna do lots of stuff. If you guys would like to see this in a different format, let me know. Like if you'd rather see like a month's worth, I don't know, maybe in February I'll do a month worth. Why does that sound like I'm saying that wrong? A month's. So if you guys would like to see that, let me know. But until then, I'm going to be doing it weekly, taking my Sundays off, and I hope you guys enjoyed so much. I do have some fun things planned. I have a collab in the works, which I could kick myself. I mean, I should have been doing way more collabs, and I am just such a weird, like, awkward person when it comes to real interaction with people. And I know that sounds so strange coming from someone talking to a camera right now, but you know, I'm talking to you guys, but it's one way. Like, you can't be like, hey dude, you're an idiot. I mean, you can in the comments if you want to, but you know, there's no face-to-face weirdness. Okay, I need to stop talking. It's getting late. Thank you so much for watching and hanging with me, and I will be so happy to see you guys in my next video. Bye.